Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Risk Matrix with myself, Dr. Martin, and my good friend, James Junkin. Hey, James.
Hey, Doc, what's going on? We got our boss
Yep.
here, Rachel from Veriforce and Highwire. Isn't that awesome?
That's right. Another guest, 2 weeks in a row with a guest,
I know it.
So
Pretty cool.
we do have Rachel here. She's with Veriforce. She just came over from Highwire as part of the acquisition with Highwire. She's the head of marketing. So we're going to get into it with you in a minute, Rachel. But first, we're going to do what we customarily do on our show, which is a rip from the headlines.
Hey, check it out. If you live in the Gulf Coast region, you're probably already a weather nut like I am. But look, the 2026 tornado season is rewriting the record books. There have been more than 700 confirmed twisters. Some of them, the EF4, EF5 time, a lot affecting out in the Midwest. I think they had some in Canada, one down in Mexico. Even saw a headline that they had a tornado in Russia. Can you imagine? Tornado in Russia.
Wisconsin and Indiana too, James. My parents had some go through.
Well, I know Rachel was telling me she flew into Chicago the other night, and the turbulence off all those Illinois storms was just unbearable.
I'm nothing I've seen in a long time, James. So I'm feeling it up in the air.
So my question is
good.
this the new normal, or is this just a brutal outlier? I don't know. But we've got a couple of articles out. 15 years after Joplin, Veriforce has published that in their blog for me. And also Inside the Wind, Tornadoes and the Fragility of Work. So just remember, be safe, be weather aware. You're responsible for your workers, even in inclement weather. The next rip for the headlines comes from the National Football League. OSHA has opened an investigation due to a worker fatality at the Broncos training facility and a construction site where they're working on the training facility and expanding it. Not a lot of details on this just yet. Looks like a worker was found deceased inside a confined crawl space area. And this was a subcontractor of the general contractor that was working there. So I don't want to prejudge what happened in this particular incident. But again, just like in last week's episode, we're back to contractor management, subcontractor management, making sure that those workers have the tools, the knowledge, the skills, and the abilities to do their jobs and to do it safely. So I'll be following that investigation, see how it plays out.
Yeah, let's tie in SIMOPS with that too, right? Simultaneous operations. People, usually in a situation like that, when you have a great big thing going on, you've got several subcontractors working in a big area, right? Do we know everybody that's on site? Do we know where they are? Do we know competing things that are going on that could create a hazard for another worker? Again, I agree with you. Let's not prejudge. But in a situation like that, you see these tragedies happen, and who knows if they even knew that person was doing what they were going to do that day.
That's bad. I mean, even in very mature safety management systems, worked with several contractors in the oil and gas industry. In that situation, contractors don't always work with simultaneous operations. Most of the time, they're performing tasks by themselves. They leave, another contractor comes in. Although there is some simultaneous operations. In this contractor we provided consulting for many years, their problems always existed around simultaneous operations. And usually it was working with another contractor that didn't have as a mature safety management system, deciding who was going to be controlling the work, at-risk behaviors by the other company, if you will, all led to major incidents. Now, we didn't have any type of fatalities, but what we did have was very complex incidents that probably could have been fixed, controlled, mitigated in the planning of the work. So I think it's a good call out. Good call out.
Awesome. So we do have a guest today. Let's get into it. We're going to talk about first timer going to ASSP conference. James was there. I was not there, but I have been to their conference in the past. James, do you want to bring Rachel in with the bio?
Absolutely. Rachel is with Veriforce. She's our new vice president of marketing. She's been with the Highwire team for several years, very experienced in that area. And we met out at the ASSP conference recently out in Anaheim, California. This is her first time with us out at ASSP. As you know, been a long time member with the society, the administrative training, communication practice specialty, so forth. So, um, I've been several times, and you kind of get this is what it looks like, right? So it's going to be great to hear your perspective of the conference and where you think safety's headed in the next few years. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, James. And I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Dr. Martin. I am super excited about this new role and the chance to go to ASSP. As you know, James, I've been sending a team from Highwire, where I came from prior to Highwire being acquired by Veriforce, for years to ASSP. We were one of the smaller booths. We didn't have as big a presence as Veriforce, of course, takes up. We take up a lot of real estate now at ASSP. So it was a lot of fun for me to go for my first time this year. I've heard about it from our sellers and marketers who have gone, but to see it myself was something really special. One of the first things that really jumped out at me was the energy. ASSP does a fabulous job keeping that feeling really fresh, getting people very excited as they're walking around. For a very large trade show, and I've been to many, many over the years, they do an exceptional job, especially moving city to city. I think keeping the energy very high in the room. We found people approaching us, talking about how great the sessions were, talking about how busy and how much engagement they'd had with colleagues on site. But I really think it was one of these high energy conferences where you come out of it not necessarily feeling drained, but feeling like, as an attendee or even as an exhibitor, that you are full of new ideas that you're bringing back home with you. So that was sort of the first thing that I felt. Did you feel that way, James, this year as a
Absolutely.
longtime
Absolutely.
attendee?
It's as we'd call it in the South, it feels like a safety revival, right? You get there with the 6,000 of your best friends, you're all speaking the same language, you're supporting each other. And what I liked about this year's conference, not that this wasn't true in previous years, every time slot had a session that appealed to me. I'm like, I can learn something from this person. There were a lot of different tracks, and the technology track was certainly one, but Dr. Martin and I do a lot of consulting in the legal aspects of occupational safety and health. There were tracks there for that, and experts there talking about those. There was regulatory. There was a lot of sessions on AI, a lot of sessions on ethics. My session was on some ethical considerations. So I thought the team that picked the speakers this year did a great job. Of course, Veriforce had myself there representing. Chris Tatille spoke from the floor in the expo hall several times, did a great job. So I thought it was one of the best, if not the best, PDCs I've been to.
So I haven't been in a long time, James, and one of the things I think that is new, that's good to hear, that is that they have speakers on the expo hall floor. They've added that in as, something that you're there. You're not just looking at squeezy balls and items that people give away, but you can also sit down and actually hear more than you normally would hear. And I've seen that at other conferences, so I'm glad that they brought that in.
In addition to the actual on the floor talks, which I agree were a phenomenal thing that the ASSP is doing, a lot of the booths were also highly experiential, way beyond squeezy balls and syncopates. It was really fun for us. And if you did get a moment in between talking to the prospects and clients that were coming by the Veriforce booth, there was all sorts of amazing stuff to watch. Advancements in fall protection, demonstrations of new technology and measurement techniques, things that are very complementary and relevant to our clients and our network. But they were just fun to watch. So the show floor was very educational, experiential from that perspective as well. And I think some of our vendors that we were around gave us a lot of inspiration for things that we could do in the future. People want a tactile experience on that show floor in a way that's educational and relevant. So I think we will take that back as we plan for 27 as well. Did you enjoy some of those more theatrical demonstrations that were happening,
I
James?
did. I did. Um, you know, someone coined this phrase. I can't remember who. I was in a meeting the other day. Something about trade show trash, and we all have that, right? We get all these squeezy balls and stuff, and then we got to go check in at TSA. And I packed like a gypsy anyway, and came with 2 Pelican cases full of clothes and a hat box because I have my cool hat box and a cane and a backpack. And so I'm like, I don't have room for all this. And I see it's really neat that some of the exhibitors are moving away from the traditional swag that people get. And yeah, it looks cool at the time, but do we really need a whole bunch of squishy balls? I mean, for last year's trade show, I have one thing left. I keep at my desk. It's Taproots. There you go. I'll send you the bill for that shameless commercial, Taproot. Taproot, for a better system, use Taproot. And it gives us spin for a cause. So if you're looking for a root cause in your investigation, you can't come up with it. Let's see what comes up with it. Conduct more training. So
Oh,
that's
that,
all
Oh
I got
no.
from
that's
last
cute.
year's trade show. And I didn't come back with anything much this year, but yeah, I thought a lot of the AI vendors, um, particularly those that have surveillance technologies, were very interesting, and they were willing not only to demonstrate their product but also engage in some of the ethical considerations that Dr. Martin and I talked about with AI and observing workers in some episodes, 3 or 4 episodes ago. So I thought that's pretty cool.
Another thing that stood out to me, James, was just how much this audience cares about face-to-face interaction. We saw so many existing Veriforce clients, Highwire clients on site. They found us. They really want to see the people that they interact with, often digitally, much of the year. So they care about that. But the ultimate evidence that I felt about this desire for face-to-face interaction was at the dinner. So about 10 days before the event, we invited us, what I thought was a small group of people to join us for dinner about 2 blocks from the venue. And poor James, I mean, we were packed in there like sardines. Basically, everyone who wanted to come came. We had to make a waiting list. It was wild. The poor folks who were trying to take drink orders and pass around the appetizers had no idea what was coming for them. And we even had to ask a few of our staff to go eat at the bar because we just couldn't fit in there. But you can have a steak anywhere. Like I don't necessarily think it was because of the food. I think people really want to sit down and have real conversations with sophisticated practitioners, with people who they think they can learn from. Yes, they probably want an oversized asparagus piece and some soup that's just a little too rich. That doesn't hurt, but it was so fun. And we booked the room. This is kind of fun. I think we booked the room for 2 hours. At 3 hours, we had to say, team, we got to let these servers go home. People just wanted to keep talking. And like you said, it wasn't about the gifts. It wasn't about what was on the plates. Although we should talk about the fact that they brought out 4 pieces of cake for each person. That's a whole other problem that we're going to have to solve in America, I think, if that's how they do desserts. But people wanted to talk about stuff that's personal, talk about things that are relevant to them in their work, find out how organizations like Veriforce are evolving and can help them evolve. But I was blown away by that and really excited to do more of those kinds of interactions as trade show season evolves and as we get ready to, of course, return to ASSP next year.
One of the things that I think is really kind of the hallmark of our profession is that people do want that interaction. And James and I see it all the time on our LinkedIn's. Just reaching out, they calling. I mean, I've never had, since I've gotten this profession, I've never had so many calls as I do from other professionals who just want to engage. They want to ask, how do you do it? Right? They may not do it your way, but they might ask you, how you want to do it. And I know that some of Veriforce's other events that I've been to, clients want to come. They want to see other professionals, they want to see live people. They want to know more about how can they do better.
Totally. And I think the other big learning for me as a marketer, thinking about all these different audiences that are in the Veriforce family, right? We speak to all these different industries globally. Certainly in the US, we have the historical energy and utility markets that Veriforce is famous for. But now all of these new clients we had a bunch of Northeastern construction clients, we have data centers, we have a bunch of new, and guess what? They all want to learn from each other, right? The same challenges are present cross industry. They absolutely wanted to mix and mingle and talk about their related challenges and how even differing industries are solving them. So that was also impressive to me. And a really fun part about the dinner was the vibrancy and the variety of people who joined us. Kind of so different and yet so the same in their challenges and what they were trying to work on.
No,
This is great.
I really appreciate the opportunity to meet people that I only know through LinkedIn. And, they're people that know us from the podcast. And typically, if they follow us on podcasts, they connect with us on LinkedIn as well. And it was cool to walk around and meet people that say, we appreciate what you're doing on the podcast. And I want you to know that we appreciate the sponsorship and the relationship that Veriforce has given us for the last 4 years. It certainly is filtering out into the broader safety community because I was really what I was doing was going to get a snacky. I would like to say I was doing something useful, but I was headed back to the hotel to get me a snack. And this guy stopped me and he's like, "Man, I follow you on LinkedIn and I'm over there on Spotify and I listen to your podcast when I work out." I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." I didn't even know this person, right? But it's pretty cool to meet folks like that and to hear somebody else for a change. I think as safety professionals, we're so used to being the ones teaching, delivering the message, being the person who has to be in the spotlight at all times. For me, anyway, it's great to sit down and stop and listen to somebody else's perspective. And that's why I like going to ASSP.
So I have a question for you, Rachel.
Yeah.
The amount of things that were going on, you said that there were some synergies with different industries. Is that going to impact how you look at the marketing team and things that you pass through to the people who are looking at new products, new things that Veriforce can do, and how to integrate all those industries into the same kind of format or problems that they see?
It's such a great question. Like the real strength of Veriforce right now, or one of the emerging strengths, is having so many different products that are fit for purpose in different industries. But at their core, they're using data types that are common across so many of them. So it allows us to have this way to speak to the market that is very bespoke and thoughtful about the context in which the data needs to be used, while at the same time creating a contractor experience and an assessment experience and an inspection experience and some of these things that are very common in a way that can be just capital V Veriforce. So I think having so many different teams, so many different products, we're really proud of how many things that we have. We have a lot to do as we talk with a client who's having challenges or has goals in the realm of contractor management or supply chain risk management. And our benefit is that it is extremely unlikely that you're going to come to us with one of your problems and we don't have something on our shelf that could try to address it. And it's on our team, it's on my team to make sure that as people are looking for those things, that it's very clear to them all the things that we can do in a really simplistic way. We don't want to overcomplicate that. It's also really important for us to do that in a storytelling kind of way. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, the storytelling from something happening in oil and gas is very likely to resonate with a data center and is very likely to resonate with a large trade contractor. Many of them really have a core challenges that are so common. But we have such a variety of solutions we can offer our clients. This is such an opportunity to come in and say, hopefully this will work for James because we know he's such a shoe guy. We got to put you in the shoe that is fit for purpose for the job, not something that's very heavy and fit for maybe most of everybody or most of nobody. We want you to come into our Veriforce line of products and find the thing that's really fit for purpose for your job, and makes the challenge of contractor risk management a lot easier and a lot better. And there's a lot that we have and a lot more that's coming in that area. To that end, one of the things that I felt at this conference, James, you touched on it earlier, was this shift from AI as a curiosity to AI as something people are pushing us on. People aren't showing up with a wondering what AI is going to do. They are showing up and asking us at the booth, how are you using AI to make contractor management better? We need to have answers to that are much more specific, I think, now than we did even a year ago. And even as, James and I had a brief moment to do a lap to really look at what some of the other vendors were doing and talking about. The practical application of AI was very high. It wasn't theoretical. It wasn't what is that. This was very, very practical applications of AI. And I think our clients are pushing us there as well and really want us to be at the forefront of informing them about how they can use AI to improve safety outcomes.
You
Well,
mentioned something about the commonality of questions amongst the people that stopped by the booth, and the booth was amazing. I mean, it was great. Kudos to your team. I mean, it felt like I was sitting in a corporate office someplace. It was really stylish. But was there a common theme among the folks that came by that as far as worker qualifications and questioning how do we know that worker out there really has the knowledge, skills, and abilities to do their job? Did you sense that at all?
I think that does resonate. And in fact, one of the things that I'd like to do as we evolve our trade show presence is make sure that people have a way to see and touch how that even works at Veriforce, not just as a conceptual belief about it being the way we think about improving safety, but it's something you can actually physically test out right in our trade show booth to understand how we do that practically to solve that challenge of taking contractor management from not just the company level but down to the worker level. So I think people really want to visualize that more, and as we evolve our presence at shows like ASSP, we've got to make sure they walk out of there feeling like they have seen the future,
mhm.
and that the future feels easy to use, accessible, and like something they might be able to bring back home to their teams and make a meaningful difference in the way they're thinking about their programs and goals.
So I see it like this. You use the shoe analogy, right? Build your own shoe. What do you want to go on your shoe? What color do you want it to be? What brand, do you want? Do you want it to have this kind of sole or that kind of sole? It's opting into all those different pieces that Veriforce can offer or Highwire can offer or anything that you have on the shelf, pulling them in and making, as you said, a bespoke product for every single person using the collective, right? And I mean that
And
to
we
me
still
seems like
have the benefit of an absolutely phenomenal and large global R&D team that's using AI to both accelerate the development of those kinds of new features and functionalities, but also can kind of rapidly do things that may would have historically taken, a year or 18 months to develop, can now be done so much faster. And so I think the way that those R&D teams that we work with, here at Veriforce are going to apply that to the experience is going to be amazing. We're already seeing little bits of it, but I think what's coming, in the way they're thinking about evolving fast to create that really specific solution that meets every client's needs. It's a way that now the engineering talent matches with what I think has been the company philosophy from the jump. I mean, always Veriforce has wanted to be a company that works really closely with safety professionals, is backed by safety professionals, and builds highly customized solutions that meet the needs of some of the most sophisticated operators in the globe. Now the technology is, I think, is going to be able to evolve as quickly as the internal philosophy has been for a very long time.
Yeah,
Can I ask you?
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, can I ask you, do you bring any of those R&D people to the conference with you, or have any plans of bringing them so that they can hear some of these conversations and be in on, the front line of helping you figure out those pieces and connections?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have. I don't know if we had any at ASSP, but I will say, I think an important thing to understand about the way Veriforce operates is the influence and impact that the safety professionals who work in the team, and we have many of them, the influence that they have on the product roadmap and in collaboration with product managers. So, whereas at other companies, those SMEs may be out there meeting with clients and demoing the software or offering best practices. At Veriforce, those folks are also in direct communication on a regular basis with the product managers, the engineering teams, the people who are developing the solutions, because we are a company backed by real safety professionals underpinning our strategy. And that's a little different. But that said, I think it would be a great thing to invite more, especially product managers, to join us, have more product managers speaking as we go around, and fill up some of these sessions where we get to speak. I think it's always wonderful to have product folks on site, and we should do more of it.
And that's where I think the strength of our strategic advisory board also assists Veriforce. Dr. Martin's been on our strategic advisory board since its inception, and it's really a cross industry advisory board. Um, we have folks from academia, we have people still out in the field, we have consultants. Uh, we also have non-safety professionals, procurement professionals, legal professionals, all there, and getting their input and building a product, because it's not just about safety. There's also other risks that are not just safety risks. So when you're looking at a relationship with a contractor, you're looking at all the risks that come up with a contractor. You can have supply chain risks that really don't have anything to do with safety, especially now when you're talking about an international supply chain that stretches way beyond the visibility that you have here, maybe in the US. So I'm always appreciative of our strategic advisory board. We had some of those folks speak also out there in their own capacities, and maybe some more as we head into the National Safety Council. So that's an upcoming event we haven't talked about. So let's talk about, the time we got left, your plans for NSC.
Oh, well, I can't let go of all of our secrets because we have to have a few surprises, James. But we plan to have a similar large presence with many folks from our team. We're going to have a huge booth there as well. We are really hoping that when we're in Indy, we see even more of our clients, our prospective clients as well, our training community. We want clients from all across the global business to find us and, come home and see our executives and our team on site. We might send them with a little bit of trade show trash, but I can't help myself. I can't go to none, right?
Gotta have
Yeah.
something. At least gotta have a theme.
There's also a great healthy debate going on what we should all wear. I made a bunch of people wear suits this year. Some people liked that, some people didn't. We got the attire conversation, I think, is going to be a whole work stream so that we have a really great cohesive look. And of course, we'd like to do some fun things with our clients while we're out in Indy. So we're hoping to have some great private events as well. And if for folks who want to join us, let us know. We'd love to have you with us, networking, having a little fun while we do a little learning and networking as well. So we do plan to send a big group out. I can't wait. I'm sure everyone's going to raise their hand and want to go. And it's going to be tough because what I saw, at least on our team, James, I thought the team worked so hard. I want to bring everyone that we took at ASSP. I mean, maybe not you, of course, but all the rest of them, I want to bring right back with me. I mean, how lucky is Veriforce to have non-selling leaders, people who have other supplementary roles, who are right at the edge of the booth, driving conversations, inviting people in, fully capable of leading and managing entry level discussions. There's just what I leave from that event feeling like we have so much talent that we can put to work. And in addition to having talent that knows how to do it, they're willing to roll up their sleeves and do it. They have the skill and the will to go stand in those booths 12 hours a day with a big smile, a lot of energy drinks fueling them behind the scenes. But I want to bring every one of them with me and then some. And everyone wants to go because it's so
Everybody wants to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, NSC will be a good time. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for coming and talking with us. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your energy as somebody that has gone to a lot of conferences in the past, to see you really like something that like James and I like to do too, right? Just you're not a safety professional per se, but you're involved in the business and you're excited about what we do. That makes it all worth it. And again, your team too. So thank you to your team and everybody that put a successful event together.
I am so honored that you invited me. Please have me back, maybe for NSC or something else.
Absolutely.
I would love this opportunity to get to know this network and be a part of this program. It's a great honor. So thank you.
Absolutely. And
Appreciate
thank you for being the epitome of the mission at Veriforce, which is to bring all workers home safe from high hazard jobs. And no matter what your job is at Veriforce, we start all of our meetings that way. We start all of our conferences that way. And I think there's a real togetherness in fulfilling that mission, no matter what your role is. You could be in R&D or in marketing or in sales. You can be part of the professional services team or the training team. We're all pulling to that goal to bring everyone home safe. So thanks for coming. I look
Thank you
forward
so
to
much.
NSC. Oh,
Can't
James,
wait.
you want
I'd be remiss before we leave. Next year, baby, ASSP 2027 is in NOLA.
Oh boy, the pressure's on. They're coming to our home city. We are going to go big. We're going to go big, right, James?
We're going big. We're going big.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
going to be great. It's
it's going to be
awesome.
great.
So go ahead and get your reservations now. Thank you again, Rachel, and thank you for providing the power, the sponsorship behind the podcast. And most of all, thank you for our listeners who have been with us now for almost 4 years. Hey, thank you very much. We do this for you. And thank you for those that have been sharing on LinkedIn the message that we're here, inviting your friends, your cohorts, your colleagues to come and to join
your
us here
mama?
on the podcast. Your mama wants you to watch the Risk Makers. I promise you. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Veriforce's LinkedIn page, our own LinkedIn page, over there at the YouTube channel, Substack.
Subscribe.
You can, yes, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when our episodes drop, which is typically every Tuesday, sometime around noon Central. But thank you guys again. Thank you again, Rachel, for coming. Until next time, y'all keep bringing those workers home safe. We're out. Roll Tide. See you.
Roll Tide.